the Must-See Film Club.
Okay, so let's start with a piece of cinematic myth-busting. The single most famous line associated with Casablanca.
Oh, I know this one. Play it again, Sam.
Exactly. It's iconic. It's the title of a Woody Allen movie that pays homage to it. But here's the thing. It's never actually said in the film.
Wait, really? Not once?
Not once. Ilsa says,
"Play it, Sam. Play as time goes by."
and Rick says,
You played it for her, you play it for me.
Well, I don't think I can remember.
If she can stand it, I can. Play it.
but the specific phrase, "play it again, Sam," it's a complete fabrication of collective memory.
Huh. That's actually the perfect way to open this story. A film that is so deeply ingrained in our culture that we've literally invented our own memories of it. It speaks to its power, right?
It absolutely does. And the story of how this film, a pinnacle of 1940s wartime cinema, even got made is just as surprising as that fact. It was anything but a sure thing. In fact, it was, total chaos.
Total chaos is an understatement. The production was a mess. Filming started on May 25th, 1942, and the screenwriters were turning in pages daily. The actors, including Bogart and Bergman, had no idea how the movie was going to end.
Which is incredible when you think about Bergman's performance. She's famously playing this tortured character, torn between two men. But part of that torture was real. She didn't know which man her character was supposed to be more in love with, because the script wasn't finished.
She apparently asked director Michael Curtis, "Who am I supposed to love more?" And he just said, "I don't know. Play it in between." That's your direction.
And this whole thing is being filmed against the backdrop of World War II. It's not just the setting, it's the reality for the cast and crew. Many of the supporting actors, like Paul Henreid, who plays Victor Laszlo, and Conrad Veidt, the villainous Major Strasser, were actual European refugees who had fled Nazism.
That adds such a layer of authenticity. When they're singing La Marseillaise in the cafe to drown out the Germans, those weren't just actors. For many of them, that was real defiance. They were channeling their actual experiences.
Totally. The film was shot entirely in studio at Warner Bros. In Burbank, aside from a few shots at the Van Nuys airport. They were creating this exotic, desperate world of Casablanca, Morocco, on a backlot, going over budget by about $75,000 to a total of just over $1 million.
So you have this chaotic production, an unfinished script, actors who are actual refugees, and somehow, out of all that, they create what the American Film Institute now ranks as the third greatest American film of all time.
Which brings us to what the film is really about. On the surface, it's a romance, a love triangle. But if you look deeper, it's a brilliantly constructed allegory for America's role in World War II.
Oh, absolutely. Think about Rick Blaine, Humphrey Bogart's character. He starts the film as a complete isolationist. His famous line is, "I stick my neck out for nobody." He is cynical, self-interested, and wants nothing to do with the larger conflict.
That's literally America before Pearl Harbor. Neutrality, stay out of European affairs. Rick's Cafe is this little bubble of American isolationism in the middle of a world at war.
Exactly. And then Ilsa walks in. She represents the past, a moral calling, a reason to care again. She forces him to confront his old idealism. And Victor Laszlo represents the noble cause itself, the resistance against tyranny.
So Rick's journey throughout the film, from cynical club owner to the man who sacrifices his love and his business for the greater good, that's the narrative arc of the United States entering the war. He goes from "I stick my neck out for nobody" to arranging Laszlo's escape and telling Captain Renault, "Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship."
It's the ultimate pivot from isolationism to active engagement. The film is basically making the case to the American public that sacrifice is necessary and noble. It's not just a story, it's a piece of wartime messaging, a morale booster.
And it was Bogart's first real romantic lead role. He was known for playing gangsters and tough guys. This film reshaped his entire star persona into this unconventional hero with a hidden layer of sensitivity. He became that American ideal.
This is so different from other films we've talked about, like Sunset Boulevard, which critiques the Hollywood system. This is the system at its most effective, using narrative as a powerful tool for shaping national identity during a critical moment.
And Warner Bros. Knew exactly what they had, not just artistically, but strategically. The timing of the release is one of the most brilliant marketing moves in film history.
Right, so they finish filming in August 1942. The original plan was a release in early 1943, but then a major world event happens.
Operation Torch. On November 8, 1942, the Allies invade North Africa, and one of the key landing points is Casablanca.
Suddenly, this exotic-sounding city is on the front page of every newspaper in America. It's the center of the war effort. And the studio executives at Warner Bros. Have a film in the can called Casablanca.
It's an unbelievable stroke of luck. So they rush the premiere. They hold it in New York City on November 26, 1942, just 18 days after the invasion, to capitalize on the headlines.
And then it gets even better for them. In January 1943, Churchill and Roosevelt hold a high-profile strategic meeting to plan the next phase of the war. The location? The Casablanca Conference.
So when the film goes into wide release on January 23, 1943, its title is, again, the lead story everywhere. You literally could not have engineered a better publicity campaign. They didn't just release a movie, they released a cultural event that was directly tied to the real-world patriotic moment.
And it worked. The film was the sixth highest-grossing film of 1943, bringing in nearly $4.5 million. It got 8 Academy Award nominations and won 3, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Adapted Screenplay.
It's a masterclass in leveraging zeitgeist. The movie was a hit because it was a great story, yes, but its legendary status was cemented because its release was perfectly synchronized with history.
This leads to the big debate about the film's legacy. Was it a work of genius or just a very, very happy accident?
The argument for happy accident is strong. The chaotic production, the daily script pages, the uncertain ending. No one involved seemed to think they were making a masterpiece. They were just trying to get a movie finished on time and on budget during a war.
Right. All the pieces just happened to fall into place. The perfect cast, many of whom had a deep personal connection to the subject matter. The serendipitous marketing opportunity with Operation Torch. The pitch-perfect theme song, As Time Goes By, which the composer, Max Steiner, actually hated and wanted to replace.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. He wanted to cut it?
He did, but by the time he wanted to reshoot the scenes with a new song, Ingrid Bergman had already cut her hair short for her next role in For Whom the Bell Tolls, so reshoots were impossible. The song stayed in because of a haircut.
That's incredible. But then there's the other side. The genius argument. Even with the chaos, the final film is so tightly constructed. The dialogue is some of the most quoted in history. The moral and political allegory is perfectly woven into the romance. That doesn't happen by accident.
That's a good point. The studio system, for all its faults, was a machine designed to produce polished, effective entertainment. Director Michael Curtis was a master craftsman. The screenwriters were pros. Maybe it's not a binary choice. Maybe it's genius forged in chaos.
I think that's it. And its legacy proves that. It wasn't just a wartime hit. It had a massive revival in the 1960s, especially with college students. The Brattle Theater in Cambridge, Massachusetts, started an annual tradition of showing it during finals week in 1957, and it became a cult phenomenon.
Yeah, people would show up in trench coats and recite the dialogue. It became an interactive experience, kind of like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. By 1977, it was reportedly the most frequently broadcast film on American television.
Its cultural footprint is just immense. It has shaped the entire image of the city of Casablanca. There's now a real Rick's Casablanca there, opened in 2004, designed to look just like the one in the movie. It's a tourist attraction built on a place that never existed outside of a Hollywood studio.
So, why does it endure? I mean, beyond the great lines and the iconic performances, why are we still talking about it today?
I think it's because the central conflict is timeless. It's the struggle between cynicism and idealism, between self-interest and sacrifice. Every generation faces that choice, both personally and politically.
And Rick's final decision to sacrifice his own happiness for a greater cause is an incredibly powerful and, frankly, adult resolution. It's not a simple, they lived happily ever after ending. It's bittersweet and complex.
Exactly. He loses the girl but rediscovers his soul. In a world that often feels deeply cynical, Casablanca remains this enduring testament to the idea that, as Rick says, the problems of three little people don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy world. Sometimes you have to choose the hill.